Hey guys, how you doing? Kyle Holleran here, General Manager of the KW Alliance Group, and today I am joined by Diego Abregu from the Loudoun Gateway office. How we doing?
Doing great. I'm excited to be here and talk real estate with you guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this conversation as well. So, listen, a lot of people may not know who you are.
Yeah.
You want to give us kind of the quick rundown, kind of give
Yeah,
us your,
sure.
your abbreviated life
Yeah.
story here?
So, like you said, my name is Diego Abregu. I'm an associate broker with Keller Loudoun Gateway. I got into the business in 2017, about the end of 2017, like December, and started in 2018, you could say, like really focusing in on the business. Went full-time end of 2018.
Yep.
And been full-time ever since, just loving it. So growing my business every single year and just trying to stay consistent and continue to grow and have fun in the process.
Nice. Are you from Northern Virginia area? Where are you from?
Yeah, born and raised in Northern Virginia. So not super exciting, but I know the area very well. I grew up in Falls Church till I was about 10 or 11, then moved out to Loudoun, moved to Sterling, lived there all throughout like middle school, high school. Then as soon as I was like 19, bounced around to Leesburg, Ashburn. Now I'm back in Leesburg where we bought a home and we're loving it. So
Nice. Awesome.
yeah.
How'd you get started in real estate? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
Why'd you end up getting a
so
license?
great question. And I have to take you back a little bit if I have to give you like the full story. So I actually boxed competitively for about 7 years or so. And when I was 21, I'm 29 now. When I was 21, my uncle, Arturo Cruz, who's also part of the Keller Williams family, he reached out to me, my brother actually, and he told me, hey, I think you guys would be really good at real estate. You should try this out. And we were all for it. It looked pretty cool. I was like, okay, this is good. It's a lot more, stability and income than we're making at the time. And he gave us a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. I'm not sure if you guys read it. It essentially tells you to focus on one thing and nothing else will matter in your business. I kind of took it a different way. At the time I was boxing and I was like, you know what? I want to lay all my eggs on boxing and fully focus on this. And that's what I did. So I kind of had real estate in the back of my mind as you could say like a plan B or like a fallback plan for a career in the future.
Right.
So I was 21. And then when I was 23, I decided, you know what? I don't know if I want to lay all my eggs in boxing and I really want to get into business. I always had an entrepreneurship mindset and drive. Like I loved reading self-help books and sales books. And yeah, so then I called my uncle up one day like, hey, you know what? I'm taking a break from boxing. What I need to do? He's like, get your license and come back and talk to me. I got licensed like 3 months later, went to KW, had no idea what real estate entailed. I just took the training classes and then I realized I don't really know how to sell a house, but I like this whole idea of it, of like prospecting and being a salesperson and generating business. And I immediately gravitated to it because I was like, you know what, this is something I could really excel in.
Have you ever done sales before?
Like
any
yes,
other sort of,
yeah, somewhat. I actually did sales at a boxing gym. I worked at LA Boxing that later merged into UFC gym.
Yep.
So I was a personal trainer and I was also a communications manager, salesperson. So I sold gym memberships. I ended up starting my own personal training business throughout that time frame, and I was going like door to door, just meeting people, telling them, hey, I'm a personal trainer. I'm here to help you. And I just went to people's houses. And I did that full time for a little bit before I transitioned over into the restaurant industry, actually, to pursue my boxing career because it allowed me to have somewhat of a stable income at the time, what I thought it was.
Yep.
And it allowed me to travel as much as I did for fights and stuff.
So you're like boxing during the day and training and all that, and then in nighttime, like working at the restaurant, making sure you can pay your bills?
Say it again?
I said, like, were you boxing during the day and then going to the restaurant and working at nighttime, making sure you can pay your bills?
Yeah, I was boxing like 24/7. I mean, we would train 2 to 3 times a day. We would spar all over the place. And restaurant-wise, it was IHOP, so I would work sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. Yeah, I mean, just doing what we could to.
I feel like boxers of most people have like intense focus, right? What are some lessons that you pull from boxing that you pulled into like your real estate business?
Everything really, because I have a tattoo that says no boxing, no life, because it's so similar. Everything's an analogy to boxing. When I first got into business, I would take these training classes, and I remember I would speak with some of the agents that were doing these classes, and I would tell them, I need some sort of system or some sort of routine just like boxing. For boxing, it was so simple to be successful. It wasn't easy, but it was simple, right? Eat clean, train hard, spar, study film, run your miles, live the lifestyle, don't drink, don't smoke. Like, live the lifestyle of a boxer and you're going to be a successful boxer. Right. So in real estate, again, when I got licensed, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. So I said, what do I need to do? Like, what is the recipe to success so I can do it and be a successful real estate agent, have my own business, right? So once I got that, it became a lot easier and just kind of finding that routine of,
what are the activities I got to do every single day? And if I do them consistently, like,
exactly. So I remember they would tell me, like, to door knock, cold call, all those things. So I would door knock around my neighborhood, but at the time, I had no problem knocking on doors. And this is what I would tell agents, like the older agents. I was like, I'll knock on 100 doors, but what happens if they do want to sell their house? Like, I don't know what to do. But obviously,
good problem to have.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Obviously, now that's like not an issue. You do the training, you do the contracts, all that, and you eventually learn the process. And through experience, it all comes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. So tell me about family. Why do you work every single day?
Yeah, so I have a little girl, my daughter. She'll be 4 in May. Her name is Genesis, and we're expecting another little one in May as well.
Congratulations.
And thank you, I appreciate it. And the crazy thing is, it's a baby boy. His due date is the exact same due date that Genesis had when she was gonna be born. So she came a little bit early, like 2 weeks early. So he's gonna be like right around the same thing.
You ready to be a dad of 2?
Yeah, as ready as I'm gonna be. As ready as I'm gonna be. So I'm excited that
for me at least, excited. The first one was the tough one. Now it's 2. It's like, all right, now we're just repeating the process, right?
You have 2?
I have 2 kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So probably like selling a house a little bit.
Yeah.
Do it a few times. It gets a little bit easier every time that you do it.
Yeah, I'm around a lot of kids. So I mean, my brother has 2. He has 2 nieces, and one of my best friends, who I consider a brother, he has 2 little boys. So they're all around the same age. Every time we go out to eat, we get like a table of 11. It's crazy. Kids run everywhere. So I'm not too nervous about it. It's going to be a lot of change for sure. Yep. But I mean, it's going to be fun.
How do you balance life, family with business, right? Showings, the things that you got to get done for your business as well.
I believe it's just prioritizing. I mean, my business is a huge priority in my life because my family is a priority in my life, and my business helps me support my family and give us the lifestyle that we deserve and we want. And so it's pretty easy. I mean, I just wake up. I mean, I got to go to work, right? I just go to work, follow up, contact people, make marketing material, and service my clients and just try to do the best job I can. And then I have gotten better as my kids get older with just more activities and them being home wanting me to be present. It's just like after like 6:30, I try my best to really cut off work as much as possible. So just be as efficient, as productive as possible from that 9 to 5, 6-ish time frame. Sure. So if anything does pop up, most of the time it can wait for tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I'm still.
I mean, it's tough, right? It's a tough part of our business. Yeah, and that's something I'm working on this year is being more present, right?
Yeah.
One thing my coach said to me the other day was they said, I did my goals both personal and professional for the year. Yeah. And they said, let me see your calendar, right? Like, does that line up? Like, do you have time blocks on there for fitness goals this year, family time, vacations? And my realization was I got too much work on there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's really smart to kind of back up a little bit, make sure those priorities are in place.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is tough, but I think at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same. I've never been great with like work-life balance. I'm just living life, right? Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. Like some people think it's unhealthy, but I enjoy it. Like I feel like a part of my purpose, at least right now in this time frame, this season in my life, is to help people with their real estate goals. Like people need to find a place to live. Right. People need to sell their biggest investment. And even though we do it so often, so much, I still understand that, Bob or Susie's house or this time in their life is only once in every 7 or 10 years, right? So I have to be fully devoted. And with so many realtors out there, for them to choose me and work directly with me, not even, shopping other realtors or whatever you want to say, I know that they're working with me, they trust me, and only me. I'm going to give them everything I can, right? Yeah. And in return, obviously, my business benefits as well. So it's not the worst of problems.
Let's talk about your business a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing that I recognize, I get to work with a lot of agents. Everyone lead gens in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Some people do farming at a high level. you get a lot of your business as referrals and repeat customers.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
It's a good question. I've asked myself that before. I'm like, why do I get so many referrals? And I really try to dumb it down. And I believe it's just taking care of people. Right. Like, that's one of my ways that I like to run my business. Just take care of your people, and your people will take care of you. I've always had a pretty good social media following and just knowing a lot of people. I've been always branded, you could say. Like, you're building your reputation every single day, whether you know it or not, right. Whether you're doing it intentionally or not. And even I played basketball my whole life until I was a senior in high school. I was really good. A lot of people knew me for that, so I knew a lot of the people in Northern Virginia from all different counties and things or not different counties, but different school districts and stuff. And people always knew me as a hard worker, dedicated person, right? And then when I went over to boxing, it was the same thing. People still knew me as an athlete, but they knew that I was committed, working really hard. First one in the gym, last one out the gym kind of deal. I built that reputation naturally. Then when I went over to real estate, I had to kind of reinvent and rebrand myself as a business person and a professional.
Right.
But people already knew the work ethic was there 110%. So that was kind of easy for me. And I naturally posted on social media a lot just because I always did. Even when I used to train, I used to just post all my stuff just because I enjoyed sharing my journey, right?
Yep.
And yeah, so then when I went into real estate, I did that naturally picked up a good following, and people started hearing about me and having more conversations. And then with experience and practice and skills, the conversations become easier and they become better. So I could have less conversations, and those conversations are converting to more business, more referrals. And that's a way that it naturally grew. And not to kind of go back to your question, when I was trying to narrow down my pillars of lead generation, I was doing everything in the beginning, from open houses every weekend, door knocking, cold calling, calling Sphere.
Yeah, you heard an idea, you went and did it.
I did everything, right? So then I realized, where is my business coming from? Because my business wasn't so great the first couple years, you could say. And I saw that a lot of my business was coming from people that I know, and a lot of it was coming from social media as well. So I said to myself, you know what? Let me double, triple down on social media, just more intentionally, and let me see what that does.
Right.
And once I did that, my business just really, really picked up. It still came down to having better conversations with my clients, treating them better, being knowledgeable, and giving good service, because that generates referrals. And that's how I like to run my business. But that's really what it was. So now I put a lot of energy into that.
Yep.
And still just trying to take care of my people.
I know you handle the transaction really well. I know you service your clients at a really high level. One thing that I enjoy a lot on your social media is you're a really good educator. And so you're taking different talking points around, how different loan products might work, or what the market's doing right now and how interest rates affect people, and really get it to a point where people can digest and understand it, right? Does that seem to be working for you, is taking that approach?
It does. I believe it's an education approach, because I'm never necessarily selling someone on the idea of buy a house or sell your house right now. It's more of, this is what's going on. If you want to sell your house, you're probably going to benefit. If you want to buy a house, these are the benefits of buying a house right now. Long-term wise, it's always best to buy right now.
Right.
And I think that's the approach that I try to take is, what's your current situation? What's your personal situation? What are you looking to accomplish? And how can I help you make a better decision? Right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people make the decision. I like that line, logic makes you think, emotion makes you act.
Yeah.
I think your social media, your education really tees people up to thinking a certain way.
Yeah.
And then when they get in contact with you, right, and you are invested in the outcome, that's where the emotion comes into play, and that's why deals can happen.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's just being that resource, that real estate resource. That's what I try to stay top of mind with people. If you have any real estate questions, feel free to give me a call, because I'm not going to sell you or push you to do something right now.
Yep.
I'm just here to talk to you. And if you want to buy or sell, because eventually you will want to, most likely, hopefully I'm the person that you're thinking of, right?
Awesome. Hey, what's something that what's a lesson that took you too long to learn? So 2017, 18, you started in the business, right? We're in 2023.
Yeah.
What's something that maybe if you could go back in time, you'd say, hey, I would just accept that for what it was and move forward, and I would have moved forward faster? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's something that comes to mind, and I haven't really fixed it yet, and that's probably getting some sort of like admin or assistant. And I've said that before in the past, and that's probably one thing that I've had, I just haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
So that's probably one thing.
I mean, just creating leverage in general, right? Sometimes leverage is a system, it's a person. A lot of people go to the people aspect, but hopefully, right? You got some good systems in place there. They bring you some leverage, smart plans, stuff like that. Right?
Yeah,
that give you some breathing room.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I like to do. Is just it almost makes me work. Like for real, I feel like I'm not overwhelmed. As much business as I'm doing, I almost treat it like a 9 to 5 in the sense is I wake up, I clock in, and I'm ready to work.
Right.
So I do time block to do certain things.
Yep.
But sometimes things pop up, and it's not the end of the world
if
I have to service a client to do one thing.
Well, I'll have a mindset around it, right? Because we're just in an industry where things are going to pop up. Right? But I like that, be present, right? If you're working and it's working hours, like knock out your work.
Yeah.
That way, when you get home, you have the freedom to kind of hang out with your family, be present, do those things.
No, exactly.
Yep. What are some goals for your team this year? So I know you were in business with your brother.
Yeah.
Right? Your brother's on your team. Tell me about that.
So he's loving it. He's doing a great job of educating himself and really immersing himself in real estate, which I feel a lot of agents need to do is live the lifestyle of a real estate professional, not only an agent but an investor. Understand the ins and outs of it, why people do certain things, and he's doing that, and he's seeing success. He's doing the things that I told him that I should have done earlier. I guess to answer your question, it's just reaching out to more people, making sure you stick to your follow-ups. He also runs a driving school business, so he does that. He uses that as a leverage tool to teaches a class of 20 people in the local area who know, like, and trust him already.
Right.
Gives out his business cards, gives out the information. He'll follow up after class with all of them, and he's seeing good business from that. So that's something that I am focused on as well, is helping him grow his business to a point where it's very consistent like mine. Multiple deals every month for a long period of time. I feel that's something a lot of agents don't have in this business. If you just look at the statistics, you see a lot of this in the business, right? So I think one of the things that I pride myself on is that I've always been very consistent. Every single month, I have clients that I'm servicing or clients under contract, constantly helping people, right? I'm not necessarily taking the winter off to hang out and go to the beach. Not saying anything's wrong with it. I just haven't done that yet, right? I'm just constantly trying to grow my business right now.
Nice.
So
what are some goals this year? What are some things that you guys are looking to accomplish in 2023?
We're looking to get more listings.
Okay.
Be more on the listing side. I've been very buyer heavy. Just to kind of give you an idea, the last couple of years, it's been almost broken up similarly, where it's been like 28 buy sides and like 5 or 6 listings.
Yep.
So it's heavy on the buy side. And this year, just want to show people that I can also help people get top dollar for their listings and just market a little more to sellers.
Right.
Especially right now in this market, I feel that a lot of sellers, whatever they may be thinking, there's still a ton of equity in their homes and it's still a great time to sell. So just trying to educate home sellers that, hey, if you've been thinking about selling, it's a great time to do that, because you're going to be able to still profit on the massive amount of equity that you've gained over the last couple of years.
Right.
At the same time, it's going to be a lot less competition when you buy your next home.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a great time for those people. And it's a great time for first-time home buyers as well, because ask any first-time home buyer the last couple of years, they're probably happy now, but it was not fun during the process.
Sure.
It was exhausting.
Yep.
It was exhausting.
Yep.
I had clients, and I don't feel ashamed saying this, but we've had first-time buyers 3% down, 10 times rejected, and it was impossible. Like there were some houses, and this is what I mean when I say the conversation changes and why you always have to be immersed in real estate, because the conversation always does change with your clients. There were some houses that just weren't for them, and I would tell them, like, hey, some houses just won't be for you, and you have to be understanding of that and not be emotionally attached to the house. We'll submit the strongest offer we can, and I'll submit on any house you want to.
Right.
Sometimes it's just not going to pan out because there's people who are waiving
Based on
appraisals,
competition or
people
terms.
who are doing things that we just cannot do.
Right.
We just financially cannot do.
Right.
And so now it's way different. People are saving tens of thousands of dollars on closing costs, able to negotiate price, able to get their homes inspected and walk away if something were to happen, without feeling like if they go back in the market, they're not going to be able to buy another house, right? Because that's how it felt in 2020 and 2021.
Right. No, like you said, I mean, like I said a minute ago, best time to buy a house long term is now.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've seen house appreciation for consistently, in the history of the U.S. housing market.
You have to ask yourself, and I don't mean to cut you off, when you're buying a house or you're waiting to buy a house, especially if you don't own a house, like first-time home buyers, I really stress it to them, like, what are you waiting for? And it's a real question. Like, are you waiting for prices to drop?
Right.
Or are you waiting for interest rates to drop? Are you waiting for more inventory?
Right.
Like, how long are you willing to wait?
Right.
Because next thing you know, it's going to be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. You've paid over $100,000 in rent, no asset. Prices have gone up.
Right.
We just don't know what the market's going to do, truthfully. No one does.
Yep.
No one knows what interest rates are going to do. We have an idea, but we don't know. So your best bet is to buy right now, especially if you have a 5 to 7 year, plan,
right.
in a sense.
Yeah, sure. Rates fall, you can refi. But I think what people need to start understanding a little bit is the last 2 or 3 years is probably the anomaly.
100%.
Right. When you look overall in terms of, rates and things like that, and because we are in such low inventory, it's probably contradicting something I've said on an earlier podcast here, but like I don't see them dropping rates very quickly this year because we have such low inventory that we're going to go right back to people offering $80,000, $90,000 over asking, and that's literally what they are trying to prevent from happening. Right, is affordability.
It's a tough market. It's a tough market, and it's tough to predict because I've always said, or not always said, but you could go back to like 2021, start of 2022, and people would ask me, what did you think was going to happen with the prices? I remember saying, like, I think if they go to like 6.5%, 7%, prices will have to come down.
Right.
I did not think we were going to get here. Like, I did not think that. And prices are still there. And it just kind of goes to show you how low the inventory issue is that we have right now, not only locally, but just nationwide.
Right.
And one of my, I don't want to say fears, but just one of my analysis or assessments, you could say, is affordability is an issue, I feel like, long-term wise, right? Like, I don't see prices going down. There's so much pent-up demand. There's a large population of millennials who are getting ready to buy and want to buy and are financially stable to buy.
Yep.
I see everything getting more expensive, and I just don't see housing being the one thing that's going to be all of a sudden, not expensive or, low cost.
And we're just not building enough. Right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have enough building going on. I thought this was interesting. Someone said, when you have a house and you have a roof over your head and someone tries to build near you, like you try to prevent that from happening, right? Like a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
That really made me start thinking about like, where are we going to get some of these new development communities to make up some of this pent up demand? So I love your idea of switching over to the listing side, really focusing on that. Someone said to me the other day, like follow the D's of real estate, divorce, diapers, right? Diplomas, like whatever.
Yeah.
But that was smart, right? We got to look for the motivated right now. But we were just talking before we started. You said you went door knocking today.
Yeah.
Right. One of the doors you knocked on, someone's
the very first
one. You already set an appointment.
It's always like that. Is the very first one? It's always like that. I can knock on 100 doors. It's like the first or second one.
Right.
Kind of give you that energy. Like, okay, well, this is easier than I thought.
Right.
And it's just people need help at the end of the day, right? And I think when you can show them and communicate with them that, hey, I'm a real person just like you. I just know a lot about real estate and I can genuinely help you.
Right.
People gravitate to that. Because they're not used to that. They're so used to being sold on something that it's easy to do business at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's this good book and talks about different types of luck, right?
Yeah.
And one of them, like people look and they say, hey, Diego's lucky. Like in reality, that's not true, right?
Not
you put in the
all,
effort.
for
and
sure.
Probably some of your luck is like because you're in motion, right? You're moving, you're outdoor knocking, you're talking to people, you're bumping elbows. Like that's where those things come from sometimes.
Exactly.
Right?
Showing up. I told my brother this the other day, like just show up.
Yep.
If you show up every single day, no matter what it is, no matter if there isn't a set outcome, you just don't know what opportunities are going to arise. You don't know who you're going to meet, what hand you're going to shake, who is going to gravitate toward you to give you to open a door.
Yep.
Not saying that you're going with that mindset, but just show up, be yourself, be positive, have a good attitude, and you'll be surprised how much blessings you get from that, for real.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if people are out here watching, they want to learn more about you, follow you on social media, where do people follow you?
It's my full name. It's Diego Abregu, Diego Abregu. You can see it on my shirt, the Abregu Real Estate Group. I pretty much wear this everywhere. I'm like
the brand. I like it.
I'm like a cartoon character. I wear this in like black, red, and white. So yeah, that's it. So I'm happy to help if buy, sell, Northern Virginia. Also licensed in Maryland as well. So I'm enjoying just helping out my network as much as possible.
Awesome. Any agents that are in the Alliance Group or watching this anywhere else, right, primarily work in Loudoun County.
Yeah.
Right, that's where you do a lot of your business in Loudoun County. So if you have any referrals, hit up Diego.
We'd love to help you guys.
All right. Thanks for joining us today.
For sure.
We'll talk to you guys soon.